We have the MSI H81M9 after rebate ability. You also have the connectors and have it in all of its MSI brown, blue, and black.
They were ready for it. They planned.
Oh yeah, I believe it. S4, a lot of people don't.
You don't think they should return back to a more standard sort of expected lineup? Because it looked from the bans that we had from Na'Vi that they were expecting the normal, they were expecting the Rubik to come out, they're expecting all the same kind of stuff that we've seen and got used to from Alliance over the last few weeks.
It's definitely a different draft, but I think it kind of has a similar type feel. Loda here is playing more of a harder carry, but at the same time, Void, he sets up a lot. And we did have we did have Bulldog playing the Broodmother, which is the carry transition, and they pretty much put a lot of eggs into the Bulldog basket. They put it.
It was Jakiro, Void, all those heroes super good at team fighting. So if Na'Vi picks a lineup like that, that's very aggressive, that doesn't transition into a typical carry playstyle, then Alliance...
Heroes, are you ready to take high ground or not? There's not a lot of margin for error. You can win with that lineup, but be very careful.
I feel like that's kind of the issue with Chen a lot of the times. You know, it's that margin of error is, you know, if you make those mistakes going on the high ground,
regular support, maybe Chen works there, and maybe if their AoE teamfight wasn't as good, but not against Jakiro faces Void. That just I don't think that works very well.
You two pick Na'Vi out as your series winners. They've got a lot of work to do right now. They're facing elimination with the map down. Got to win 2 in a row now. How do they start off the second draft? Innovate? Stick to what they know?
probably, yeah. I think just stick to what they know. This was a little bit of a change-up, I felt, just because I don't really feel like we've seen them play the Timber Saw. I felt like it was kind of a little bit of a change. They picked the Timber, which is, you know, you want to be team fighting a lot, and then they picked the Chem, which you want to be pushing, you want to be grouping up. And it just felt a little bit out of the box of Na'Vi from what I've been seeing recently.
Then maybe it didn't suit their style, Charlie.
No, and something that Denny said is that if they get the correct drafts, the drafts that they're comfortable with, they win. They feel great, and that's the key here. Is get something that they're comfortable with.
Cinder, no doubt, will have given his boys a pep talk at the break, and all he's been saying to him. What do you think he'll have given them in terms of advice of how to approach the second game? Not draft so much, but just mentality.
I'll give it to Kevin then.
Pick Faceless Void, pick Enigma, all team fighting, which they did last game.
Yep, full team fight.
Yeah, get in their faces.
That's the way to do it. Wall farming.
Wall farming.
Yeah.
So Broodmother.
Why not? It works so well. Like, he's clearly very, very practiced on the hero. He dodged AoE spells with his spiders. Like, Timbersaw was trying to kill those. He'd be like, nope, no, just gonna move these around, dodge the gold gain. He played that really well.
Yeah, he plays it in the pubs for fun when he's streaming. I mean, it's
Disturbing.
It is disturbing and disgusting, Fogged.
Arachnophobia across the board.
It leaves them too open.
With everything we said about Alliance's ability to just sit back and farm, Brood was a perfect example. Okay, farm the jungle, you can scout with spiders. It poses such a huge problem. You need a gem minimum to deal with that, or the right heroes, that can lane against it. It's just such a diverse problem.
Okay,
Maybe
so instead we
banning
get the Rubik back. So Alliance get their Rubik, so I guess they're quite happy either way.
They're going back to something that they're going back to something that they're used to, that they've been trying to make work for a while. It's the EGM Rubik. Leshrac desperately trying to make it work. Leshrac desperately trying to make it work. He hasn't seen that much success with it. He hasn't seen that much success with it.
I like how he just puts it out there though. There's no fear. I like how he just puts it out there though. Shit might get banned. Like, yeah, we're gonna win. Just take it. Shit might get banned. Synergizes well with the Rubik. Take it with the combo. Synergizes well with the Rubik. Can make easy rotations onto the line. They can make easy rotations onto the mid lane. He just loves the hero. And he just
wins on
loves the hero.
They've not lost with it at this tournament, at least. They've not lost with it at this tournament, at least.
They've definitely lost with it before at other tournaments.
Not the best versus Slaughter, less usually builds pretty tanky. He will increase physical damage.
Okay, slightly skewed off the meta, but not terribly out of the meta is the Oracle. We have seen it here. Has been used pretty effectively as well.
Soneko's Oracle is actually very, very good.
I think he's, if not the best, one of the best. Like him and Z-Freak and Hanskin stand out to me at least.
He makes the hero look like it's not even about buffing your allies. It's about killing people.
Yeah.
That's what he does with the hero. And it's the same with his Phoenix game. He was actually just like dueling mid that entire game, and he still hit level 7 at a super reasonable time, a very fast time.
Okay, second phase ban, so DP's in there.
It's really good against Lesh as well, because he could just cast that on Slaughter and make him magic immune.
Yeah, the Fate's Edict is extremely powerful versus mass magic damage. And yeah, the DP ban.
Makes a lot of sense. If you saw in the last
Radiant team ban.
DP actually gave Leshrac a lot of trouble because Leshrac, you want to be able to outlane your opponent by constantly harassing them down the field. issue with her Crypt Swarm.
Yeah, and Siphon, I feel like completely counteracts Edict.
Yeah.
Like if you want to walk up and Edict him, he just siphons you, and it pretty much heals you the exact same amount, and it slows you, so he can just walk away from you.
Yeah, it's a great way to scale well against Lesh. Lesh is mostly AoE, so a very tanky hero like Death Prophet can definitely deal with that damage. And Silence is good too.
Yeah.
Well, Na'Vi bans out the Bulldog Bone Druid. They don't want to deal with that. Maybe bring Bulldog out of his comfort zone this game. There's 2 targeted bans already.
Yeah, and also it just synergizes quite well with Leshrac, you know, having that frontliner so Leshrac can get his spells off, have the Edict as well for pushing down towers.
Reserve time.
Yeah, and also Jawban.
It's
pretty ordinary.
not too
versus
surprising.
Na'Vi, yeah.
Na'Vi has run before, and it's synergizes well with the Slardar.
Yep.
They have run it with the Windrunner as well, haven't they? So
Yeah.
10 seconds.
I think they can deal with Windrunner. It looked really good last game. Dendy's ability to land
very
shackle shots
comfortable.
is
Very
incredible,
comfortable in it,
but-
isn't he? Very comfortable.
Yeah, extremely comfortable.
It's a late game. It can be a late game carry that also has early game playmaking ability and lanes well against so many different heroes.
And so faces Void ban as well.
Yeah. You okay with that?
Remaining.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they don't really want to be dealing with this mass team fight again. You know, there's already Lash, which is incredibly good at team fight. EGM's Rubik is quite good in team fight as well. Boy just might be putting it over the top for them. And it looks like Na'Vi might be drafting toward a, you know, like pick-off type lineup.
Something that they're very used to and play a lot.
Yeah, heavy aggression in the early laning phase and pick off into the mid game.
I like the Dazzle.
I
You
do
have an
as well.
Oracle, we have a Dazzle.
I really like the Dazzle to kind of like counteract the amplified damage as well, of course, with Weave, and then yeah, obviously the Grave in order to
It counteracts Navi's
stop
playstyle.
aggression. And it does counteract Navi's playstyle a lot, yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
It's pretty good with Leshrac also. Just guarantees that he doesn't die. He can always output damage when he's being Grave, so even if he does go down, the amount of damage that Lesh can deal out in 5 seconds is actually incredible. Even if he's stunned the whole time.
Yeah, it's also
It's significant.
it's very similar to the draft that they had yesterday versus Fnatic. They actually had the Slardar, but they had Rubik, Leshrac, Dazzle, Furion. So maybe we'll be seeing Bulldog going for that Furion again.
Is Furion good against Slaughter? Not so much, but at some stage good.
It's good in the laning phase if you get like a 1v1 or something, obviously, but Slardar is one of the better heroes at catching out of Furion.
Furion also puts a lot of pressure on the lane though. He can really mess with the supports who really need levels, and I think Oracle can be one of those, so he can, you know, obviously constantly be sending the treants to like mess with the pull, but we'll see if Alliance decides to go for that, if not for a different hero. And a Nyx Assassin. So
That makes this harder now.
That-
I think Prophet would have been fine otherwise, but
Yeah.
now it's a little tougher.
Now it's definitely tougher.
Like Brood, for example, sitting in jungle, mostly invis, fairly safe, but now if it's a Prophet standing there hitting creeps, Nyx is going to find him almost every time.
And Nyx is incredible versus all 3 heroes right now in Alliance. Like, of course, versus the Leshrac, obvious, but he has very squishy supports which he can just kind of pick off by himself.
Yeah, we've seen the Dendi play it already. Great effect against the Phoenix, and Leshrac is similar in a lot of ways. If you turn on your spells, you are going to get hit by the Spike Carapace.
Yeah, and Mana Burn is, I mean, Leshrac is one of the heroes with like the highest int gain in Dota, so
Yeah.
it's going to be quite strong in the later stages of the game if they get to that point.
It's such a hard problem now for him too. He needs HP obviously, because Lesh always needs HP. He needs magic immunity against Nyx. He needs armor against Slardar. That's the trifecta problem for those tanky int cores like Lesh and DP. At least he's got Dazzle to offset that a bit. Weave will help, but
And the null field from Rubik.
that is actually a great point.
Yeah. We do see EGM doesn't always skill it. Sometimes he does go for the 4-4, but I think in this draft he probably will go like what 2 points in lift and go for that maxing the aura.
I mean, one early can be
Like
by 8 or something minimum. I think is worth it, yeah, especially against Oracle. The more you resist, the more it heals you afterwards.
Yeah.
So they're looking for a carry, or their offlane hero. Okay. So offlane Night Stalker. This should help offset the Nyx a lot. It's quite good versus Slardar as well, just because if you're running around as a team, you should be able to get the drop on him before he gets hit on you, unlike last game. last game. Every single fight was Navi going in with Slar.
Do you think maybe...
Go back to the Chen here.
Yeah, they go back to the Chen. I was going to actually ask you, do you think that maybe they're expecting the Nyx mid and they're trying to put the Night Stalker mid and going for some like aggro tri-lane and putting Bulldog into a 1v1?
They might, because
That's a very alliance approach.
this definitely should be a Nyx mid, especially with that Chen pickup.
Right, and that's a very that Night Stalker. Like the first thing that comes to my mind, at least for a mid Night Stalker, that's S4 100%. So
And
it's really
Loda
interesting.
does play Leshrac as well. This used to be one of his staple heroes back in Dota 1.
Back in Dota 1.
So who goes Rubik?
Really interesting.
Who plays Rubik?
EGM
for sure.
Okay.
Leshrac as well. This used to and then that should be an AK Dazzle. What do you feel about the Chen pick? This is like a comfort Navi pick, but do you see too much of a point? It helps push down towers, but do you see a lot of synergy here with that Chen?
It's a mech holder, so it gives them that mid-game team fight, which they do like, which we were talking about. It gives them push, which they're lacking at the moment.
It does mix with Oracle very well, but if Slardr's their carry, then do they really need to heal that guy? Kind of. I guess they could ulti him and try to get him to kill Lesh, but I just don't like Slar that much here as a carry. He takes like 3 items until he becomes a regular carry, and he has to do well that whole time.
Right.
Unless you're MVP.
Unless you're MVP.
Then you just run at everybody.
Yeah, if he goes to Armlet, if he goes to Armlet here, I think it could work. Blink Armlet, safe lane, maybe farm Armlet first, maybe go...
Well, we've been waiting for it.
Oracle Huskar.
Okay.
First one we've had at the main event has already picked, of course, during the Manila Major, but the first one we've had in the study.
They had no hesitation on that either. They definitely had this plan in mind.
That was a great pick there.
If that's a carry Leshrac and a mid Night Stalker, what does Alliance do here? That's a real good pick against both of those.
With Fate's Edict, it gets really tough. Like, Huskar doesn't have as much magic resistance as he used to.
No, he doesn't.
You can lower him down. It's like 50% max when you're almost dead. So they can lower his HP down. They've got some mischance on Night Stalker. That's one of the big things they have going for them.
Yes.
No field's gonna stop the fire damage. It's not looking good, but there are options.
No.
Whoa. All right.
Chance on Night Stalker. That's one of the big things they have going for them.
Big change. Definitely an adjustment from the draft.
Stop the fire damage. It's not
No,
looking
and
good.
that'll be for
Bulldog on the
Loda.
Night Stalker.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So yeah, Bulldog on the
Right.
Night Stalker
That's
and
definitely
Loda
an
on the
adjustment.
Naga.
So Dendi will get his mid matchup against S4 on that Leshrac.
Indeed he will. Okay, final thoughts. Charlie, which way's the draft gone?
Ooh.
Tough one, right?
This really is tough, but